Now we will have an update on some recent incidents from the Wichita Police Department.
Good morning. I'm Captain Aaron Moses with the Wichita Police Department. I'm going to provide two updates on fatal shooting incidents that occurred yesterday. I'll go backwards. So I'll start with the one that happened later in the evening yesterday. On May 21st, 2024, at 9:24 p.m., Wichita police officers responded to a reported walk-in shooting at St. Francis Hospital. 21-year-old Jadida Ponce of Wichita arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound and was later pronounced deceased. At this point in the investigation, the details that can be released are limited. We are still actively investigating this case and know that there are additional witnesses who have not provided a statement or cooperated with this investigation. This appears to be a case of targeted violence between two particular groups of people and not a random shooting. Our investigators are processing multiple crime scenes related to this homicide. We ask if you have information on this case that you call our investigators at 316-268-4407 or Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111. The case number for that incident is 24C-088895. Earlier in the afternoon, on May 21st, 2024, at 3:32 p.m., Wichita police officers were dispatched to the report of a shooting at a business in the 2700 block of Southeast Boulevard Plaza. Upon arrival, officers located 44-year-old Rebexi Figueroa, a male of Wyoming, inside the business with multiple gunshot wounds. Mr. Figueroa was pronounced deceased at the scene. Additionally, officers located a 71-year-old male of Wichita with multiple gunshot wounds. This male was transported to an area hospital, underwent surgery, and is expected to survive. The investigation into this case is also ongoing, and at this preliminary stage, it is believed that the deceased male was attempting to commit an armed robbery of the business, and there was an exchange of gunfire. The injured male is believed to be an employee. The facts of this case will be presented to the Sedgwick County District Attorney's Office for review. The case number on that incident is 24C-088735.